Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Podcast on Fifth Ave. It's just me and Taylor today because Jenna is out in sunny Los Angeles covering the Super Bowl, so she's hopefully having the time of her life, but we definitely miss having her here. The Penguins are back officially from the All-Star break. That was all last week, and we'll talk about that later in the show because we really, really want to spend this entire first segment kind of dissecting the three bizarre incidents from last night involving Brad Marchand because he's always been weird and he's always been dirty in more ways than one. And even for him, last night felt like it was kind of out there.
He was in rare form.
Yeah, he was in rare form. First, when Tristan Jarry was trying to flip a puck up over the glass to a Pens fan, Marchand just took it from him.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah. So Jarry does this like a lot on the road. I noticed it like even in Vegas too. If he sees a Penguins fan, near the glass, he'll try to give them a puck.
Mm-hmm.
So we couldn't see like the fan, what he was doing in Boston. That's presumably what he was doing. He had the puck on his stick like he was about to flip it over. Yeah, and Brad Marchand just skates by and like knocks it off the stick, catches it, skates off, and then just tosses it at it was like it hit an ice screw guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw
Weird.
that, like I thought that was hilarious. Like it's him being a rat. Like it's an asshole move.
Yeah.
But it's also like because it's just so unnecessary. So much of what like Brad Marchand does is like rat behavior is like when you let the intrusive thoughts win, like like licking because he's licked more than one guy's face, hasn't he?
I think like at least 2, maybe 3.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if the wires just cross in his brain and something pops into his head like that, and it just happens. But yeah, he's just skating by and he just takes the puck meant for
a kid,
a fan. Yeah, that was at the end of the second period, and then. Like the very start of the third period, we had another incident where, so Crosby's taking the face off. His stick snaps on the face off, and he drops it, and just goes to like get a new stick from the bench. And Marchand blocks him and interferes with him the whole way. It wasn't an interference call.
No,
I've never seen a more blatant interference because it went on for. Yeah. It's like
oh my God, like 10 seconds, right? It felt like an eternity in hockey time. Like he was just in the way. And it was like one of those instances where you're watching and you're like, okay, but now it's going to be over. Now it's going to be over. Okay, this is it. He's really going to move now. And you're like,
yeah, because Crosby.
And how was that not called?
Yeah, I don't understand how it wasn't. Because again, like. We can't embed the videos in here. I think we'll get copyright strike for it. But you look it up. I mean, I tweeted it. It's everywhere on Twitter. I've never seen more blatant interference. And yeah, again, like Crosby, he's just kind of skating towards him. And then I think like after like 5 seconds, he realizes like he's not going to move. And then he finally, you can see kind of like bears down and like actually almost knocks like Marchand off his feet once he actually like started like trying to get him out of the way. But I don't know. And it's funny. Like you saw the bench in the video, and it's like Aston Reese, Marino, Ruedel, and Pettersson just looking like completely perplexed, befuddled at like what just happened with Brad Marchand and Sidney Crosby. And it's funny because they're friends. I mean, because they're both from Nova Scotia. They skate together in the summers. A bunch of local guys. They form a group and skate together, train together.
Yeah.
I mean, they played on what Team Canada got together. They might be
still weird
right now. Had the NHL gone to the Olympics in an alternate universe, they're line mates right now. But I mean, those again, like that, it should have been called, and it's kind of crazy. But that's another thing where it's like it's so egregious. It's and not really hurting anyone that it's funny.
It's just so bizarre behavior that you don't expect from a professional hockey player in the middle of a game. And I think you're right. Like there has to be some kind of like, I don't know, mismatch in the way that his brain sends cues to the rest of his body, because it just seems like regardless, and I know that like specifically with like the incident with Tristan Jarry at the end of the game, whenever he ended up punching him in the head and then slapping him with his stick in the head, like he does try to get under people's skin, but his skin is so paper thin that it's really easy to get under his too. And I think that in that instance, he was pissed that Jarry was just so incredible last night. But in all of those other encounters, it's like, what are you doing? Like, why are you looking people's faces, bro? Like, that's disgusting.
Yeah, it's like stealing like the puck away, Jarry just trying to give it away. It's just so unnecessary.
Weird.
That's what's funny. But the thing in the final minute,
that was rough.
There's like debate about what led to it, but yeah, like you said, I mean, he punches Jarry in the side of the head, and then as he's being like led by the officials, he goes to like hit him with the stick. Because Bergeron got hurt earlier in the game, just kind of like an unfortunate collision with Crosby. Their feet got tangled up. He went into the boards, and he didn't come back to the game. Jarry had, I think, hit Coyle in the stomach like a little bit before. He just kind of like put his stick out, but Coyle was fine. He didn't even go down.
He didn't do anything. Yeah.
People, you can see Jarry saying something to Marchand in that like right after the whistle, but everything I know about Tristan Jarry, I don't think he could have possibly said anything that outrageous that would have justified Marchand's reaction.
Right.
And the Bruins coach, Bruce Cassidy, he said afterwards, it's a lack of discipline, obviously, on Brad's part in that situation. He said, someone said, Tristan had said something to him. Like, he said he didn't know what led to it either. And then he went on to say, you've got to have better discipline at the end of the day. Brad's a leader on our team, and he needs to control his emotions. So I think interesting for the coach to,
it is interesting.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you look at the flip side, there are a lot of people who are upset with the Penguins forwards for not laying into Brad Marchand after that incident happened, because you need to stick up for your goalie. But at the same time, it reinforces the idea that just because something happens to lead up to an incident like that doesn't mean that the incident has to happen in response. Like, if Tristan Jarry said something, okay, you still don't need to punch him in the head because he's a goalie. Like, if you were upset that he swung his stick, you didn't need to swing your stick back at him, because the Penguins did nothing to retaliate against Brad Marchand when he went after their goalie. Like, you don't have to do that. Just because something goes down doesn't mean you need to respond to it. But yeah, it is interesting too that people are very outspoken about the fact that Penguins forwards were kind of very passive in the moments that followed that whole thing.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at who was on the ice at the time. I mean, because it's like Letang, Crosby, like, it's not the guys who are going to fight. And also, if you look at like when he actually did, like swing a stick at Jarry, not everyone on the ice is even looking at it. Like Crosby, I don't think Crosby even saw it in the moment.
Nope.
You could argue that maybe someone like, like Brian Boyle should come off the bench and go after him, but what are you going to gain from that? It's the last minute of the game. And he is facing supplemental discipline. We're recording this like Wednesday evening. He has his hearing sometime Wednesday evening, so by the time this comes out, there'll probably be a decision already. It's an in-person hearing. In-person hearings are on Zoom this year, so it's a Zoom hearing, but that opens up the possibility that it's at least 5 games. Given his history, you have to figure that it's going to be somewhere around
probably more. Yeah, maybe. But at the same time, like, probably not. I have very, very low expectations for the NHL, and it does seem like they're really going to do what's appropriate. And honestly, that's the only thing that is going to stop guys like that from doing those things. Like other players, like I saw Tyler Kennedy posted a video about how guys now are going to go after Tristan Jarry. They know that they're not going to do anything about it. Okay, yeah, but I feel like guys like Brad Marchand invite that kind of chaos. So if you do fight back, it's not going to stop them from doing more dirty stuff in the future. Like the only thing that's really going to stop them is if the NHL steps in and says, nope, you were suspended without pay for this many games. Sorry, you're losing out on like a couple $1 million. Oops.
Yeah, I mean, even looking at his suspension history, it's pretty lengthy with everything he's done. The dirty hits, the licking. I'm pretty sure he got a couple games for it. So I don't know what it's going to take for him to change. I don't think he can change. I liked Malkin's wife posted on Instagram like a clip of the punch. It was on her story of, you know, just a punch in the swing, and she said 5-game suspension and 10 hours of meditations. So I have more faith in her as, you know, being in charge of player safety than the actual heads of player safety.
Oh my goodness, that's embarrassing.
5 games and make him meditate for 10 hours? Sure, yeah, I'll put Anna in charge of player safety.
She would do a better job, and that's saying something. Why don't we take a quick break, and we will be right back to break down the rest of the game. And we are back. So yes, the Penguins played the Boston Bruins in Boston last night and ended up coming out of it with a win, which was surprising given how they started the game. They looked pretty sluggish, pretty slow. And I think we've kind of all come to expect that of them after lengthier breaks. They just take a little bit of time to sort of ease back in, it seems. But there were definitely some highlights from the game, specifically Tristan Jarry's performance and Danton Heinen coming back to life. That was huge for him and for the team.
Yeah, I mean, what we've been talking about, the lack of depth scoring and how, you know, but they lost 4 games coming into the break, and part of it, the reason why, is because the only people putting up any points are the stars, you know, the power play, the top line. So for Danton Heinen, that was a revenge game for him because he was at the Bruins. The Penguins signed him out of Anaheim, but when he was in Anaheim, he never played against the Bruins, so this was his first game back in Boston. And 2 goals in 28 seconds, which crazy. The Penguins put out a stat that's the quickest 2 goals by any player, by any Penguins player since Marty Straka did it in, I believe it was like 2000. I think he had like in 7 seconds. So, just really impressive from Danton Heinen. I mean, that's what they need. Tristan Jarry, I believe he had 43 saves, I think was the final number. It was the second most shots they've allowed all in a game all season.
Wow.
So yeah, he was huge. But yeah, I mean, going back to the start, they have kind of had a trend here of like really bad starts. And so Malkin was in protocol. Malkin didn't play. The first period, very sloppy, and we were talking last week about how, you know, a lot of their problems aren't on Malkin.
Right.
You look at, you know, when Malkin was in the lineup, and a lot of the like on ice, like the advanced metrics, even like the rate of like turnovers and stuff like that, it really wasn't any different from when he came back to before he came back. It's like everything is kind of falling apart again. The lack of depth scoring, a lot of things you can't put on Malkin. And then again, they got it together after the first period, but in that first period, they look the same. So I think if that's not enough evidence that their problems aren't Malkin's fault, I don't know what is. But a good response after the first period to come back the way they did.
Absolutely. That was super encouraging because it's you just never know in those kinds of games, like if they're going to have it in them to bounce back and respond, or if it's just kind of going to be how the whole game goes. And they really did. They still, you know, I would say that I saw the second and third periods, and they still were kind of outplayed by the Bruins, but Tristan Jarry was absolutely the difference maker in this game. My goodness, and it wasn't just the amount of saves that he had to make, because he was like over 40. What was the stat? Like something
I think it was
insane.
43. But yeah, it was the second most they've allowed all season.
Insane. And they were insane saves, especially down to the wire. Oh my goodness!
He had one behind his back that kind of looked like that one Malcolm Subban had against the Penguins in the game against Buffalo. Yeah. But I mean, he was huge. Brian Russ, I think he lost a tooth, or like got a tooth.
It chipped.
Yep. Yeah, it's either chipped or I don't know. Sometimes when it is chipped, they do end up just taking it out, or it falls out. I did a story, I think it was like 3 seasons ago, where I went around and like all the guys who were missing teeth, I asked them, like, what's the story? And the Teddy Bluger, it was like the grossest one, and he also like had the most detail, or it was just chipped, but he said it was like over the next couple of days, it just started sliding out of my face. So, and like he's just telling me the story, and I was like, that's disgusting.
That's pretty gross. But that's pretty nasty.
So I don't know if we'll see. I think it was just a chipped tooth for us, but I don't know if we'll see it taken out. He did the post game interview with Potash, and he smiled and he said, like, I have a hockey smile now.
Yeah.
A lot. He was taking a beating in that game. Mm-hmm. I mean, he got hit friendly fire by like a blocked shot. He's had like terrible luck. He hasn't played a stretch for more than 10 games this season, but it's not like you can say he's injury prone, because it's all different things.
It is. It just feels like so many bizarre one-off incidents that are kind of like not preventable. They just keep happening to him, and it's like that would literally injure anybody. And these wacky things just keep happening to him. So hopefully he'll be okay for the next game. And Malkin is potentially going to be back.
Yeah. So not next. So we're recording this on Wednesday. So Thursday in Ottawa, no, just because
Ottawa. That's right.
They practiced in Boston on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. He's negative, so he doesn't have COVID anymore. He didn't test. So the way the NHL, they are changing their testing protocols. They're not testing asymptomatic players anymore. There was one final round of testing coming out of the break regardless, just to get back into facilities. Malkin actually tested positive a couple days before that. He was symptomatic. He texted the Penguins trainer, Chris Stewart, and told him that. He got a test during the break. So it has been, like at least 5 days for him.
Gotcha.
But because just Canada, the border rules, it's been too recently for him. He can't travel to Ottawa. But the expectation is that he'll play in New Jersey. Is that Sunday? I think it is.
Yeah, Sunday. Yep.
Yeah. So he should be back. Other good news, I mean, Drew O'Connor skating with the team. He's reported, Frank Seravalli reported he's recovering from a collapsed lung in San Jose.
Oh,
the team wouldn't confirm that. Mike Sullivan wouldn't comment on it. They're just saying upper body injury.
My God.
Pretty serious. And then Teddy Bluger is back skating, which is
awesome. Oh my God.
Yeah,
not that a broken jaw is a good thing. Like for his personal life, that is absolute hell. But if you look at it in terms of a hockey injury, that is something that you can start to play sooner after because of all of the protection that you can wear, and it doesn't affect the rest of your body.
And so it probably also means that his jaw wasn't like wired shut because he's able to eat again. Like he's not.
Oh, thank God! That would be miserable.
Milk shakes. He's not. But yeah, he's not just sipping milkshakes. He's able to eat again. So we don't know. They were on this road trip. He did skate in Boston. He did go back to Pittsburgh Wednesday with Ty Hennis to just kind of skate on his own. Back there, but yeah, just encouraging news injury-wise, COVID-wise, collapsed lung-wise for the Penguins moving forward. They're getting healthy. Oh, and we have to mention. So, last week we were talking about who they should recall.
Mm-hmm.
We talked a lot about Valtteri Puustinen. What do they do when Malkin goes in COVID protocol? They recall Valtteri Puustinen. Now, he didn't end up getting in the game in Boston because Danton Heinen was a game time decision. He did end up being able to play, obviously. He scored 2 goals.
Yeah. But you didn't say play. You said recall
just
him.
said bring him up.
So that happened.
We've manifested a lot of things.
Uh-huh. Our track record is like spotless.
Yeah, I'd love to see Puustinen get in a game, but again, if you're going to put him in, he's not someone that should just be like on the 4th line replacing Dominic Simone. He's not that kind of player.
Yeah.
I think I said it, last week that, Wilkes-Barre, they produced a lot of bottom 6 type players who have seen, different varying amounts of NHL time, like Angelo, Lafferty, Bjorkquist, Teddy Bluger. But they haven't really produced like a real top 6 type forward since Jake Ensel. And Valtteri Puustinen reminds me of Jake Ensel the most of anyone since Jake Ensel came up. And even though he is offense first, he is very responsible defensively. JD Forrest talked about that a lot in Wilkes-Barre. Sullivan in Boston, the practice was a Monday. Had a lot of praise for him too, like that area of his game. So I think he's ready to see NHL time. I don't know how much more ready he could be. But yeah, just with the way things are going right now and they're getting healthy, I don't know if it'll happen now. But I mean, no rush. He's young.
Yeah, he'll get there. But that's all. It's good news all around. Let's take one more break and we'll be right back. And we're back. Taylor, you had the fun privilege of going to Vegas last week for the All-Star game, and there were some highlights definitely worth mentioning. I know the Penguins, Jari and Gensel, who were there, they had some fun with some stuff, and then the skills competition seemed to be the highlight. I only saw a couple of the breakaway shots, but can you give us some things that were kind of the best parts of your trip and your favorite things that you saw while you were out there?
The best parts of my trip were all the Italian food at Italy, the hotel I was staying at. But aside from all the pasta I ate, I mean, it was just a really fun weekend. The Metro Division, they won the All-Star game, the 3-on-3 tournament.
Yes,
so they get to split $1 million. And Gensel, he had a goal and 2 assists in that game. He looked good. He was mostly playing with Claude Giroux, and they had like nice chemistry together. They had a couple of other chances that could have been goals. Kind of a weird thing to see. They were both asked about it afterward, and like Giroux said, like, yeah, it's a little weird. I think Gensel said it was different. And then Jari, he played. So like they split the games. When he played in the championship game, he played the second half. And he had like 14 saves on 15 shots, so great performance from him.
Yeah,
especially like towards the end, because so the first games you can tell like no one's really putting in like 100% effort, but when it's the last game, $1 million are on the line, and it was a close game towards the end, and the other team is pushing. He made a lot of like good saves like late in the game. So great performance by him, but honestly, the skills competition was the highlight of it for me. Jari, he did the save streak, which I still it's not the most interesting thing to watch. The Metro Division came in last in that. Well, Jake Ensel, he did do the accuracy shooting, and he came in second.
Good for him.
That's one where there's 4 targets and they have to hit, and it's timed, and he only took 5 shots. I liked so something new this year. Everyone got to pick which song plays when they're doing their skills competition. So like Jari for the save streak, Black and Yellow by Wiz Khalifa, but Gensel picked Milkshake.
That was epic.
Yeah, that again, like he only did it in like 12 seconds, so we didn't even get to hear that much of Milkshake, but just so fitting from him because of, obviously the Milkshake Factory promotion. But
take shakes.
So that was cool to see. I think the highlight of the skills competition though was the breakaway challenge. This was the first year the breakaway challenge was back since 2016. They took it away because I don't know. It was like the most popular thing when it was around. And if you go back like I don't know, like years ago, like not even that many years ago, but it used to just kind of be a trick shot challenge. Who could do the most have the most impressive hands, or most creative that way. But people started taking creative like in a different direction, and you would see like people bring up props and costumes. What Tomas Hertl in 2016 wore like a Justin Bieber mask for some reason to shoot on Jordan Binnington, because Binnington and Bieber had like they had like beef or something at the time. But yeah, so we were seeing a lot of that. So it was interesting, when they bring it back in 2016, what's this going to be? It was like not a trick shot competition at all. It was like 100%, fun props, costumes, stuff like that, which I liked it. I saw some people on, social media didn't like it because it was too far in the other direction, but it's an all-star game skills competition. It's supposed to be fun. I don't know what you'd be expecting to see from that, but the creativity we saw, the one I really liked, Jack Hughes, because it was Vegas, he turned it into like a magic trick. He came out, he took like just a normal trick shot, didn't score, and then he was like, hold on, we're gonna do it again. And they bring out like just like a black box. He opens it, it's empty. He puts on like a top hat, like a cape, dressed as a magician. He throws a bunch of gear into the box, opens the box. A little kid dressed up as Jack Hughes comes out, does the exact same move Hughes did the first time, and then scores. So that was cool. But I think the highlight of the breakaway challenge was Trevor Zegras, who, not even an all-star, the NHL brought him out just to participate in the skills competition for this event, because he has a Michigan goal this year. He has the Michigan assist, something we've never seen before.
Yeah, nuts.
If he were in a different market, he would probably be like the most popular player in the league right now. He's so fun. The stuff he does on the ice, but just his personality. He shows a lot of personality, which is something just rare to see, but he just seems to be having fun with everything he does. Even the way he talks. I think we mentioned it last week that, he calls like everyone dude, even like his coaches. That's been reported. So I don't know, just a fun guy. I love his attitude. Very skilled. But yeah, so he comes out dressed in a uniform from the movie Dodgeball. He comes out. John Gibson comes over, blindfold Zegras. And he did confirm after, like, he couldn't see anything. And yeah, like, it was
my God,
double folded. There's no way he can see. And then even if like he weren't, and so then as he's skating down, the mascots come out, they're throwing dodgeballs at him. Even if he wasn't blindfolded and dodging dodgeballs, the goal alone would have been like incredibly impressive. But the fact that he's doing it blindfolded, I don't know.
I don't even know.
He didn't win. He should have won. I can't remember. Was it Mark Jasseau or Mark Stone? One of the Vegas guys won.
Yeah.
And it was like the least interesting. It doesn't matter. All this is fake.
No,
but
is.
The NHL needs more guys like Trevor Zegras.
Oh my God, he's just like so exciting to watch. He just really brings an element of unexpected intrigue to the game. And he should have won. That was the only one that I saw, and I was like, I don't even need to see anything else, because how did that not win?
Yeah, it was the one. I can't remember which Vegas player won, but yeah, he just brought out like the Golden Knights drum line and like lined up the sides and took the shot. The way they judged, I think it used to be a fan vote when they did this before. If it were a fan vote, like on Twitter or whatever, but they didn't. Zegras absolutely would have won. They had guest judges. Mark Messier was there. Paul Coffey, but then they had like Terry Fader, other like Vegas people, and then there were there are two new events added, just unique to this year, just because it's in Vegas. They brought them out to like the Bellagio fountains and had them do kind of like a target practice type thing, accuracy shooting. It was they're not like shooting through the fountains; they're just like on the water. I don't know. It was kind of boring. And then there's another one they did outside where it was basically blackjack plus accuracy shooting, where they shut down like the strip to do this.
Oh my gosh!
Again, it was like a cool concept. It kind of dragged in practice. I don't know, but it did get. So then the All-Star game next year is in Florida. Like, what kind of fun things are they going to do in Florida?
Oh my goodness.
The Panthers arena in Sunrise. It's nowhere near the actual beach. It's not like they can just bring them outside, put them in the sand. But I don't know. And I tweeted too, and I was like, if Pittsburgh gets an All-Star game again, like, what kind of fun Pittsburgh unique things are they going to do? I suggested who can merge over two lanes on the Fort Pitt Bridge the quickest. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, that would be a real skills competition.
It really would.
Yeah, trying to figure that out on your first go.
Yeah, but looking forward to next year in Florida. But after the skills competition, so that they do the availability after. Jari and Gensel, they do theirs at the same time, like sitting together. It was kind of weird from the beginning, like they're laughing like the whole time. I thought they were just having a fun time. Someone asked Jari just like about the atmosphere and just just a fun night, just a question like that. Yeah. And Jari goes, like, yeah, it's a lot of fun. There's hot dogs in the room. It's like pond hockey. And like Gensel, like I tweeted the video, Gensel's laughing for like 30 straight seconds. Like he needed some time to recover from that. And then, like, I asked the question next, just like, what was your favorite part of, like, the breakaway challenge? Like, kind of an invitation to talk about, I don't know, Trevor Zegras. And Gensel kind of gave, like, a weird answer. He was like, it was like, yeah, they put in a lot of thought. You could tell they thought a lot about it. They put in a lot of thought. It was really cool. That's the Vegas, baby. And then, I'm like, what? And then, like, they're still laughing. So, again, like, we just thought they were having, like, a good time. And then the next morning, the Penguins put out, like, a video on Twitter where it's just like one of the PR guys, Evan Shaw, tells them before they go out, like, you have a challenge, you have to mix in, between the two of you, the three phrases, hot dogs, pond hockey, and that's Vegas, baby. So the giggling, like, from, like, against all, it was just, I think, him trying to figure out, like, how am I going to say it, that's Vegas, baby, like, naturally in an answer. And then, yeah, but you watch, like, the video of, like, Jari doing it. He was so, such a poker face, straight face when he's saying, like, yeah, there's hot dogs in the room. Like, no one questioned him. Like, everyone's like we thought it was funny, but he was so, deadpan. Like, we thought, like, okay, they're eating hot dogs in the room. Like, because why would he lie about that? But he was just, the delivery was so good. But, yeah, part of the bit, the next night after the game, I did ask him, like, was that all part of the bit, or were there, like, actually hot dogs in the room? He said there are no hot dogs in the room.
I personally would have been disappointed. I would have wanted there to be hot dogs.
Right? But I don't know. Just a fun weekend. Gensel said it was good for just, like, recharging. He said they're going to have a new battery going into the second half. And I think we at least saw that from Jari, where he seemed, he needed a lot of energy to put together those, 43 saves. So, they needed that break. 4-game losing streak heading into the break. They come out of it, they get a win. Guys are getting healthy. So, just a good weekend. Looking forward to the next All-Star game. Looking forward to Pittsburgh getting one at some point.
That'll be great because Pittsburgh's an awesome city with a lot to offer. So even though the weather isn't always the best, it would be really cool to have that kind of an event come here.
Yeah, because people were, when they announced, like, Florida, people were asking, like, when is Pittsburgh going to get one? The thing is, the NHL views all these kind of, like, big marquee events the same, like the outdoor game, the draft. Pittsburgh has had 2 outdoor games, in the last, like, 15 years. They've had the draft. And they had a draft, like, late 90s, early 2000s too.
Yeah.
So they've had a lot of these, because these are the real money makers for this city, so that's why. And then also you figure it's hard enough to get guys to want to come to the All-Star game. How many guys, like, back out? Where if you're gonna take them somewhere, are they gonna be more likely to go to Florida or like Pittsburgh in the middle of the winter? I think they'd rather go to Florida. So
probably.
I don't know how long it's going to be before Pittsburgh gets another outdoor game. So Bettman in his press conference, he did say, so Fenway is going to be the All-Star game next year. Boston's hosting it. We don't know the opponent yet, but the owners of Fenway Park think they want the hockey team they now own to play in it.
Yeah, there have been rumors that I've seen, at least, that the word on the street is the Bruins and the Penguins will be in the Winter Classic. So if that actually happens, it would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it would make a lot of sense because it's going to be at Fenway again. Fenway Sports Group owns the Penguins now. It would be a good matchup. There's at least some history there. So that'll be fun.
It will be fun. And this is always fun. Thanks for listening to Podcast on Fifth Ave. If you aren't already, make sure you're subscribed wherever it is you listen to podcasts. Follow us on Twitter and on our YouTube channel so that you can be there for the drop of the videos each week. And we will see you next Thursday.